Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Welcome back to PM in the AM, a comedy podcast designed for listeners of all ages. The show where we take a deep dive into some hilarious topics we find on the internet, including debates, including tier lists, including listener-submitted questions, and overall, we just have a great time while doing it. My name is Porter McNeely, and I am joined by co-host Blake Bushman. The goal of this podcast is to bring you guys a half hour of humor. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into that, Blake. So how are you doing this week?
I'm good, man. Feeling great. We got a little review here from the people that I'm going to share.
Let's go. Another Morning Crew review. That's 3 weeks in a row. We're really getting some momentum out here.
Yeah, and this one comes in from R. Lewis, Philly.
Okay.
So, shout out to whoever's listening in Philadelphia or just a huge Philadelphia fan. We don't know. So they say, two funny guys. Two guys having a genuine conversation and a funny one at that. Time flies by fast with a listen.
Oh, but that's kind of like the ideal review right there. That's really good, especially, I guess you are wearing a Pirates hat, which is Pennsylvania, same state.
That's me.
Maybe you're the one bringing in those Pennsylvania listeners. Or, I don't know. But, you kind of do hear, especially with sports, that, Philly people aren't very nice. And so I think that review just speaks completely opposite to that.
Yeah, and they listened until you said that they weren't very nice. And then now they're going to stay true to Philadelphia and never listen again.
No,
but now we appreciate people listening wherever they're from. I don't care if you're from what's the meanest place in the world? I have no idea.
I think it might be Philadelphia. That's why I was saying that. Either that or New York. I think it's a pretty bad rep as well.
The deep Venezuela, something like that.
I think most of the people there are really nice, though. The problem is just the 4 or 5 running the show. They're terrible. So it's kind of one of those things where, in like elementary math where you learn about like the median person's probably like super nice, but just like the
but the extremes on either end are
horrible.
Fair. So, well, if you're from Venezuela and you listen to the show for whatever reason, let us know. Know.
We will give you a huge shout out for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll protest for Venezuelan peace.
Yeah, that too. Shout out to Venezuela.
Classic. All right, Blake. I'm going to introduce the show a little bit. So today we have another one of the Blake advice segments where Blake is going to be breaking down a situation that I tell him he has no idea what this situation is, and he's just going to walk us through what Blake would do in this situation. After that, we've got a listener-submitted question, followed by the worst date submissions that we've been asking for over the past couple of weeks on social media. I'm really excited. We have quite a few stories to share, Blake, and I think it's going to be a really, really good segment.
Yeah, we've gotten so many in. Like, we're not going to be able to get to all of them, so again, sorry. But we've got some great ones, so I'm excited to get to that.
Yeah, it's definitely a stacked show today, and I don't want to just glaze over this, Blake. We did have a bracket last week, and the polls haven't gone official yet. I still been slacking a little bit on making the last graphic, but the final 2 for worst places to go for your Valentine's Day date, where we suggest at all costs you're not planning this date, is either going ring shopping for an ex or taking your current to you and your ex's spot.
Wow, so people were really resonated with the exes. I'm surprised Hooters and gas station sushi didn't make it. I thought they were both
very close. Yeah, 2 other powerhouse submissions. But yeah, people just were leaning towards doing anything that reminded you of your past with your current.
I guess that makes sense.
Terrible idea. So stay tuned on our Instagram at PM in the AM podcast to see which one of those wins. We'll post the results as soon as we get those. But yeah, just wanted to give kind of a recap there. But without further ado, Blake, I've got another situation that I need your advice in. And this one occurred actually just yesterday. And at this point, I'm kind of asking myself, over the last couple of weeks, I've shared some insane things that I'm witnessing. And I don't know like what I'm doing to be in these situations and see these things. But it happened again, Blake. And this one is going to rival last week's story for maybe even a little bit crazier. So
I can't wait.
So yesterday, you should be nervous for this one. This one's a little sketchy. So yesterday, my wife and I were at the gym at the local rec center, and we were doing leg day, which is the absolute worst exercise day of the week. It's terrible. Everyone hates it, whatever. But we're powering through, we're getting our sweat on, we're getting our lift on. And then we witness one of the most disgusting things of all times. And I was about to text you, but I decided not to. And I definitely didn't want to take a picture of this weird thing going on in the gym because it was crazy. So anyway, there's this, let's just call him a very bigger man. And he was he was getting his sweat on the elliptical. And let's say his gym shorts were lacking probably the most important element of shorts.
Length.
And that is length. That's a good guess. It is the drawstring.
Oh, okay. I'm with you now.
So this guy was, I don't know how his shorts were staying up in the front. I mean, I never walked around to the front to look, but he was on the elliptical going up and down, and occasionally he'd kind of bend forward and his shirt would come up and his entire butt crack was exposed at the gym.
Man.
Like, I'm not talking about a little plumber's crack, a little, father doing yard work out in the yard, bending over like a tiny bit. Entire butt, Blake, both cheeks fully exposed to all the individuals at the gym.
I feel like this is worse than a no drawstring problem. I feel like this is a lack of underwear problem.
Oh, yeah, true.
Like,
I didn't even think about that.
Where was that at?
I never even thought about that.
I get you don't have a drawstring. Maybe because you're a bigger fellow, it didn't quite fit with the drawstring. You pop that out so you can get it around. I'm cool, but you can't free ball at the gym. Like that's a rule. There's no free balling at the gym. So that's a terrible, man.
Dude, it was a tragedy. It was disgusting. And I mean, occasionally he'd like reach over to pull it up, but there were, 2 or 3 up to 5-second increments of his entire butt just being exposed. And that's where I want to come to you for advice, Blake, because in that situation, I didn't know, should I have gone up to him? And I'm going to let you know, I did not go up to him and do probably the right thing, which is like tell him like, hey pal, like you might want to go home. You're having a little wardrobe malfunction, or at least figure something out. Like, I applaud him being there and working out. That's awesome. But I don't care, what size, what shape your body is. If you're double cheek exposed at the gym, you shouldn't be there. It doesn't matter.
Let's make this very clear. The issue is not the size of the individual. The issue is the exposure of the bare cheeks to everybody else at the gym.
Imagine if he would have farted, Blake. There would have been nothing to slow that thing down. We would have got it at full force.
Oh, man. Can you imagine just flapping in the wind out there? They have the big fans on top of there. They wouldn't be doing anything in comparison to what that fart would do.
Jeez.
No, in terms of that, though, as far as my advice, I think that really the only thing you can do is what any civil human being would do. And that's just you walk up and you credit card him right in the butt. Because I know one thing for sure. Anybody who is bare butt credit carded in the gym will never have their bare butt show in the gym again. They will be wearing extra pants next time. And really, and it might be embarrassing in the moment, but in the long run, you're going to be doing him a huge favor. So,
I mean, while you were saying that, I had a thought too, the disinfectant wipes at the gym. You use that for imagine you credit card him with a disinfectant wipe and it comes out dirty.
Now, does your gym have the little spray bottles?
No, that would have been clutch. We do not. We're just a wipes gym, not a spray bottle gym. We're not up to that standard.
The gym I go to has a little spray bottle, and you just take a paper towel. And
that
so,
you
could also just go up and just disinfect that bad boy. So you're looking a little sweaty there. I thought I'd help clean you off. I mean, truthfully, I think that's really all you can do.
I know. I was shook, Blake. This is one of those experiences where I wasn't going to take a picture because it was disgusting. But I also, I thought I should probably go up to this guy and like let him know because I don't know how you wouldn't notice because as you're running, do you not imagine that you would feel quite the breeze doing that?
I would hope so.
The airflow has to be excellent, honestly.
Maybe he just got so hot. Was working hard in the gym. Like, you get hot, you get sweaty, and your whole body just goes numb. Maybe he just didn't even notice. Maybe he thought he was like losing feelings in the bottom half of his body. He's just totally giving it his all and exposing it all at the same time. I don't. Yeah, I think he should be banned. Truthfully, I think he needs to get a home gym if that's what he's doing.
That's what I was thinking.
If he's free balling at the gym, go home. You know,
true. Imagine if he's just on the other machines and his shorts are down that far. He'll just be bare cheeking the machines. I think I'm helping a lot of people that.
Oh no! Oh man, you get on one of those bikes, the little tiny seat, I'd get lost in there.
Oh no!
You'd have to get that surgically removed.
Blake, you're ruining the gym for me and 99% of the listeners. So,
hey, just remember, anytime you go to the gym, somebody has bare butt seated right where you're sitting. So, super gross.
Wow. But yeah, that's the experience, Blake. Thank you for your advice. I would have never thought of the hosing them down with the disinfectant spray bottle, but I'm going to have to start carrying one around on my own because that would have been perfect for that situation. So I really appreciate that advice. Now we're going to move into our listener submitted question of the week. And this one comes on Instagram as well. And with Valentine's Day coming up, I thought it was appropriate, Blake. So remember in elementary school, you would spend a class or two making a box where everybody would walk around the class and put a little Valentine cheer into your box.
Absolutely.
So the question is, Blake, what is the candy you were looking for most on Valentine's Day? What was the biggest hit for you?
I'm going to give you two answers here because there's one correct answer and then one that should never, ever be the answer. And for whatever reason, always seemed to be. And I'm going to do that first before we get to the good stuff because I feel like that's obvious. Sweet tart, the little hearts, not the sweet tart hearts, but
don't do this, Blake.
The chalk hearts that have the little writing on them.
I believe they're called conversation hearts.
They're terrible. They're called not candy. You can't consume that. I don't know why they give that to children. That's clogging up their insides. I'm certain of it. So that is on my number one do not give. And then what you give is just Reese's Hearts because that's the obvious answer. That's the best thing that you can get. It's the best Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day candy. Anytime it comes in a special shape, the Reese's are the way to go.
Blake, did I catch you again almost mixing up Valentine's and Halloween? You totally made a save there, but I got to call you out for that one.
I was hoping I got away with that. I was so close. I get my holidays mixed up. I don't know why. That's 2 episodes now, back to back, where I have gone Halloween for Valentine's Day. I don't know what it is. They're not close at all.
You really need to get it together, Blake, because you cannot be dressing up for Halloween on next Tuesday on Valentine's Day. That is not going to go over well.
I show up on Valentine's Day. I'm in a costume. Just let's go get some candy.
Blake's trying to go trick-or-treating. But I do respect the picks. I do hate the conversation hearts. They are worse than chalk. I think eating chalk would be more flavorful. But I was unaware that the Reese's came in heart shapes. I was aware of the Santa, the Easter Bunny. But I didn't know. I don't remember them coming in heart shapes.
Now wait a minute. Hold on. How old are you, Porter?
24.
You've gone 24 years of life without a Reese's Valentine's Day heart?
I mean, to be fair, I've only had...
No. They even come in white chocolate.
Oh.
How do you... I don't understand. They make... First of all, they don't make Santa Claus. They make Christmas trees. Okay, let's get that out of the way.
So my Reese's knowledge is not accurate.
What is going on in the McNeely household? How is this possible? Yes, go get them, and they're the best. And they actually are different than regular Reese's. Somebody did a whole thing of breaking down the ingredients, but they have like extra vanilla in them compared to the regular Reese's. So they do have a different taste as well. It's not just the peanut butter to chocolate ratio. And they are fantastic.
Blake, you are full of the dumbest facts, I have to say. The extra vanilla, and I don't believe that. I'm going to take your word for it, but I would really like to see some proof on a Reese's bag. You
look at
fake.
the ingredients. Look at the ingredients. It's there. It's there. It's
all right.
vanilla.
Next time I'm looking at processed candy ingredients, I'll make sure
you don't research that in your spare time. You don't spend your days just looking up the ingredients of different. I can tell you the ingredients of lots of different candies. That's Reese's. Those conversation hearts is just sawdust. So I mean, I'm 2 for 2 now.
I agree with you on that one. But my favorite Valentine's Day candy, and the thing that got me most excited was Fun Dip.
Oh, Fun Dip is great.
Fun Dip was an
Fun Dip was
absolute
good.
hit, man. Getting that
You know
little...
what's funny about Fun Dip? It's just so much sugar.
Yeah.
It's hey, what do kids like? Sugar. How should we get it to them? Should we like make a bar? Should we like make a gummy something? And let's just cut all
Diet
that
green.
out. Let's diet green and put it in a bag. Oh, but how are they going to eat it? Just dump it into their mouth? You know what? They could. But also, let's give them a stick of sugar that they can scoop it with. It's just the weirdest
I've
thing.
never actually thought about that candy in that way. It's just sugar transporting sugar that's going to dye your tongue green.
Sugar you eat with sugar, and it is the fantastic.
Oh.
It's delicious. I loved it as a kid. I don't know if I've had Fun Dip in years. Though.
Yeah.
I think the last time I had it was elementary school Valentine's Day. Like that was probably it.
But yeah, getting 3 or 4 of those, you get the blue flavor, the green flavor was an absolute hit. So that was definitely what little Porter was looking for in his Valentine bags. And just chucking the little cards off to the side. I mean, they were kind of fun as well, but definitely no Fun Dip. Definitely no, not as good as a Reese's. So,
did you have any memorable like Valentine's Day boxes? Because there's another big part of that was making the box and like having it out, and you'd walk around and drop stuff in. At least that's what it was like in my school.
I did not. I remember making them, but I don't remember one that stood out to me as artistic, probably because I just used a shoebox.
My family had one, and it was my favorite thing every year. I was so excited for Valentine's Day because we had an old mailbox that we like wrapped in tinfoil and then put like paper hearts and stuff on it, decorated it all fun. So it was like this tinfoil mailbox that they opened it up and put the candy in. I loved it, dude. It was a hit every year. I don't know where it came from, but I'm gonna have to whip that out for my kids one day because that was the best part of Valentine's Day.
So let me get this straight though. You were putting that in your backpack and just going to school with the mailbox in your backpack?
Under the arm.
Okay. You were slinging it under the arm.
Yeah, it was like a football, like a big old football.
All right. I mean, just in case people gave you some deliveries on the fly, you just pop that sucker open. Some extra Valentine's, shut it, and put the flag up and run. I
genuinely think on the day of Valentine's Day, I would not take a backpack, and I would just put like my papers or whatever I needed inside of my mailbox and just take that whole thing. So no backpack, just full mailbox, and it was great.
No, that's awesome. I wish I would have had a mailbox. I definitely would have enjoyed being the hit of my entire class. But we are going to take a brief sponsored break, and we will be right back with the worst date stories. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Trust me, these stories are going to be great. And we are back. This week we've got the worst date story submissions. I'm really excited to get into this. I can't believe some of these things happened. But first, Blake, I was going through all the stories getting sent in and reading through them this week, and I remembered one of my own. So I feel like the rest of them we're going to be sharing anonymously from the listeners, unless it's like family and we have permission to just use their name. But I did want to start off with one of my own, get a little vulnerable here. And so this takes me back, a couple of years. So I had been on maybe 1 or 2 dates with this girl. And so she invites me over. She's like, hey, me and some friends were having a game night. So, if you want to come over. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really, I was kind of trying to end it anyway. I was like, okay, game night, whatever. I'll go over. So anyway, I go over, and it's just she opens the door and no one's there. I'm like, oh, where's the game night? And she's like, oh, they're going to be here in a minute. My parents just called. She tricked me, but just wait. She's like,
okay, I'm sorry.
My parents just barely called. They need me to bring them over some powdered sugar. They're baking a treat, and they need me to bring this powdered sugar. And she's like, do you want to just come with me? It's a 10-minute drive. And I was like, no, I really have no desire to meet your parents. I don't. I was like, I'll wait here. I'll run to the gas station or something, or maybe I'll just go home. She's like, no. You had to go with me. Just come. It'll be quick. I was like, I really don't want to meet your parents. I don't. And so anyway, she just gets all emotional and I just really want you to come, whatever. I'm like, okay, I don't understand why, but I was like, okay, whatever, we'll just go. And so we drive to her parents' house, whatever, and we get in there, and they're not even baking anything, dude. It was all just a setup.
No.
To try to, and her dad just started grilling me, dude. I was like, what the heck?
So
I was like,
her parents thought you guys were way more serious.
I don't know. I think she was telling them one thing that wasn't true. I think that's what happened.
Said, hey, Porter wants to come over and talk to you about some things, maybe ask for my hand in marriage. So he just...
Dude, all I know is that I got randomly, like, grilled about, like, where I was headed in life and where I had been in life. And I was like, I was just frustrated to be there. And so we go through that and they're like, yeah, you can stay and like hang out with us or whatever. And she was like, kind of like, oh, that'd be cool. And I was like, get me out of here ASAP. Now I'm stranded. I don't have my car
And she drove,
anymore.
right?
Yeah, she drove. So I was stuck. So I was like, oh no, like we're headed back. Like there's a game night we're going to. We got to like get back to that. And so she was kind of like, okay, whatever. And then she, as we're like driving back, she's like, you're probably like never going to talk to me again. And in my head, I was like, you're absolutely right. And then out of my mouth, I was like, oh no, like it's okay.
That was
like,
fun.
Yeah.
I had a great time that you'd
But
like
needless
to be
to say, I got back and then I don't even think the game night happened. They apparently canceled. And so after that, it was over. Never talked to her again, never texted her again, never communicated with her. I don't remember if she reached out to me, but I was a little confused by the setup. So that was the worst date story that I had. That one was a little bit long, Blake, but
No, I don't even know if you can count that as a date. That was just like abduction. You were bamboozled into going
I was
on that.
kidnapped. That's a good point. Yeah,
You got press charges. What are you doing?
Bro, I literally said I didn't want to go like 3 times. That's crazy, and I still ended up going. I can't believe it.
Oh man, that's pretty bad. I'm so sorry, but glad that that wasn't the girl that you ended up marrying. Because she might listen to this and not be a huge fan.
that would have been a terrible first time meeting the parent story.
All right, I got one here sent in from a listener. It's a little bit longer, but it's fantastic. They said, the worst dating experience I ever had was when my friends decided to throw a surprise birthday party for me. It turned out to be a big surprise party, but in a bad way. Turns out one friend invited a girl I was dating, and another friend invited another girl I was dating.
Ooh,
they both showed up.
Let's go.
This was years ago, so one of the things scheduled was to go to a drive-in movie. We ended up sitting in the front seat of a big car with a bench seat. I had one of the girls on one side and the other on the other side.
Oh my, this is awesome.
It was super awkward to say the least, especially when one girl put her head on my shoulder halfway through the movie. The other girl saw and scooted over to the door until it was like she was glued to it.
Oh.
Needless to say, that was the last day I had with either of those two girls.
What a legend, first of all. But, like, where were the friends in the planning? They're like, look, we're just going to invite them both. They had to have known, that was a messed up thing.
So many things had to have gone wrong here. First of all, dating two girls, that's up there. That's up there on the priority list of things that went wrong.
Yeah,
but then after that, how do your friends not know about it? Was this like a huge secret?
That's terrible. And they're just competing for his affection or her affection.
What a guy, though, right?
Movie, that's incredible.
He had two girls fighting over him at the same time at the same party. That's pretty good.
Man, that's a legendary move. I don't know why that would be worst date.
I want to know what this guy's best date is.
Honestly, he's like
14 women,
and then they all showed up. Oh, that's funny. All right, I got another one here, Blake, and this one was crazy. So this is a nice short one, but it says, I once went on a mutual date, which is a dating app that's kind of local here to Utah, with a boy, and the first words he said to me when I got into his car were, I just pooped, and it was for you. What?
Now, what does he mean by that?
I don't think you could come back from that. You would have to spend the entire date trying to dig yourself out of a hole that you dug by saying something so immature and dumb right out of the gates.
Why was that the first thing out of his mouth? First of all,
well, why was that ever come out of his mouth? I mean, it doesn't matter if they were married for 100 years, but that's not appropriate to say.
I thought you needed to know this. I just pooped, and it was for you. Like, did he dedicate that turd to her? Like, what?
Bro, I don't know. All I'm saying is, when I tell people I have a comedy podcast, they just assume I think I am really funny. Which, I mean, I do think it a little bit, but you would have to think you were like 1,000 times funnier than I think I am funny to say something like that to somebody and just play it off. Like, you would have to think you're so funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the go-to. There must have been like a long game that he had planned with. Like, he was going to go to the bathroom in the middle of the date and be like, that one was for somebody else.
That one was for my last night's date. And let me tell you, his tummy's a little rumbly.
I'll let you know how tomorrow goes.
That's crazy. The first thing you're starting out saying on a date is bathroom humor. I guess you could call it humor, but bathroom-related topic.
Bathroom
terrible.
confessional.
Bathroom confessional. That is disgusting. That
also,
should never happen.
If he was like picking her up, that means that he went to the bathroom, drove to her house, apartment, whatever, picked her up, and in that meantime of driving, that's what he came up with. Because it wasn't like he went into the bushes, got in the car, and then they went. Like, he went to go pick her up.
He was
and
brainstorming.
Before that, he had pooped and still thought he needed to share that.
He was actually pooping when he came up with the line. He's like, "This is going to be the hook that
He's writing down notes. She's gonna love this." Oh man!
Needless to say, I'm sure that was a giant flop. I'm sure the rest of that date was just 100% the person thinking how they could avoid the rest of the date. So that's crazy.
Yeah. I got another one here. They said, I went on a double date with my brother's friend. He picked my nose on the date.
Whoa, what?
I wish so badly.
Dude, where are we finding these?
I wish so badly that she had sent in the rest of the story.
Wow.
Because I need to know. And, like, I can only imagine that, like, you know, it's kind of like when you're eating something and you got a little bit of ketchup there, and they reach over and they're like, and it's like, you know, all romantic and such, like they do in the movies. I imagine that's what this dude was going for. He just reached over and thought, "Let me get that for you."
That can't be romantic with a nice booger. It doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter if there were no Kleenexes. That is awful. Man. I can't believe that happened. I'm stunned. We have found the lowest quality men on these first couple of stories possible. What the heck?
What was his plan after that? Do you think he like stood up and went to the bathroom like, got to go wash this off, or do you think just wiped it off?
I have come to the conclusion that had to be the same guy. That had to be the poop guy. There's no way.
Same date.
Multiple men are out here picking women's noses and also telling them that they pooped for them. That is crazy.
Yeah, so I don't think they went on another date. I'm going to go ahead and assume that.
All right, I've got another good one, Blake. So this one, he picked me up and he took me to his place of work to show me off to his coworkers. So this place of work was like a restaurant, and the date was just
like a first date. I hope this was
first date.
Oh, see, that changes things dramatically. Because I was thinking it was like, you know, they had already gone on a couple of dates for kind of like starting like the dating stage, you know, where they're exclusive.
Nope.
And they were like, hey, I got to stop at work. If this was a first date and he decided, he's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go out with her again, so I'm going to go show off to my buddies back at Domino's.
That's exactly, that's the story. So that's crazy.
Dude's flipping pizzas, and this guy walks in with his date. Bring your date to work day is not recommended especially for a first date. So, that's
definitely something that you want to avoid at all costs. You go somewhere nicer, you know, wherever you work, just take it a step up, go somewhere nicer, and generally try to avoid the people that are going to make that date uncomfortable, I would say. And your coworkers probably going to make that uncomfortable. So that's
a fair point. This person said, My date farted when she bent down to pet a dog. And this one I just feel really bad about because you know that girl was mortified after that happened. They were like,
I mean, maybe she was just proud.
Did you hear that one? That was pretty good.
At least this was a girl doing something wrong. That is the first time. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's pretty good. We also got another one to redeem the girls that said, I took this girl bowling and she beat me. Which, that's
my life, dude.
That's not the end of the world. But this one has a happy ending where it says she's now my wife, but she still beats me every time.
Oh, okay.
Which I think the bowling part was an important preface to that second sentence, because if she just said my wife beats me every time, that'd make a pretty bad date. But
they go bowling and he just gets beat. He's just in the bathroom of the bowling alley, just getting whipped.
That is a requirement to have a bowling alley. When the inspector comes through, it's like, okay, grease, okay, dirty balls. Let's go into the bathroom. Oh, yep, domestic abuse. It's here. We're good.
Oh, no. Jeez.
So, no, yeah.
Don't forget the disco ball and music videos playing constantly. That's okay. We can move on now.
While we're talking about bowling alleys, we're not moving on because I just thought of something. Whose job is it to come up with the little animations that happen when you get like a strike or when you get a split or whatever it is?
No idea, but they are out of pocket. They have gone too far.
They are some of the weirdest things. I just went bowling with my sisters a couple weeks ago, not too long ago. And I would just watch the screen because it was comical, the things that they had.
They're like dropping pins on Iraq and their bombs.
Yeah, I was literally going to say it was like a bomb coming over and landing on the pins.
Like, what?
Whose job is to just sit there and be like, hey, how can we knock down pins in the weirdest way possible? Oh, well, what if we had a teddy bear walk up with a 2x4 and hit it and it said split? Like, just the weirdest
or
thing
they have like two people getting a divorce and it's like split. Like, what? I think that'd be a pretty fun job, actually, to be the bowling alley animation creator, because you can just go out of pocket. You can just go rude.
You dream it, you can do it.
Yeah, that is a no boundaries job. That's funny that you bring that up.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
All right, but this isn't a bowling date. This is actually a mini golf date gone wrong. So this one's a little bit longer. It says, so my friend and I went on a double date with a couple of guys, and it was originally a double date just between my friend and another couple and another guy. Fast forward to the day of the date. They pull up to pick up the girls, and this girl's date says his name really quietly. So I went the rest of the 2-hour date not knowing my date's name. And at the end of the night, still didn't know the date's name.
They went on a full date without knowing the guy's name?
Yeah, 2 hours.
That's nearly impressive. I mean, I guess that's tough, though, when it's like everybody knows each other's names already. And like, if you forget their name, how are you supposed to introduce yourself?
You can't. There's like, no reintroduction.
Hey,
you gotta,
bro. What's going on?
What's up, buddy? Good mini golf shot, pal.
Dude, hey, whatever you do, do not whip out buddy on your date unless you really don't like the person. I don't care if it's a dude, if it's a guy, whoever you're on a date with. If you call him buddy, it's probably going to go overboard.
That term is only appropriate for dogs. That term is not appropriate for humans, especially if you're close to the same age.
Yeah, maybe if it's like 2 years and under, that might be acceptable. But
I think, what she should have done is just taken a complete stab in the dark and gone, thanks for the date, Ethan. Great time. Or, Nathan, I wasn't really feeling it tonight. And he's like, my name is James. What? He's like, the complete disrespect. That's funny.
The total slap in the face. No, all you got to do is just in the middle of the date, just ask them how you spell their name. Just in the middle.
You're like, interesting spelling.
They're like, it's Jeff. How many ways?
Is that 1 F or 2 Fs?
Is it the one with the G, maybe? I wasn't sure.
I forgot there's a Jeff like that. Oh, that's good.
That's reserved for fancy people. Joffrey.
Do you have any more, Blake?
I do, but for the sake of time, I won't share them all because, ironically, I got multiple stories submitted about people choking on dates, and so I kind of I'm going to clump them all into one. But yeah, they had to get. I had multiple people tell me they had to get the Heimlich maneuver in the middle of their date. Which sounds like a huge bummer. Honestly.
I mean, if you're looking for the physical chemistry testing on the first date, I mean, can they save your life? Did they give you your breath back? The food took your breath away, but the date gave it back. No, I hope they didn't take your breath away. I hope they restored your breath.
Shoving a fry down their throat. How you like that? It was actually a stranger that gave him the Heimlich.
Yeah, the date's just like frozen, and the stranger runs over, saves the day, and turns out to swoop the woman in the end.
I think it's romantic, getting the Heimlich on a date. I think that, if I was choking on a date and I'd say I'm on a date with my wife and I start choking on a grapefruit. I almost said grapefruit. Let's stick with just the grape. And I couldn't breathe. She came up and gave me the Heimlich. Bro, she'd be my hero for the rest of forever. I mean, that's impressive. I hope they married that person in all three of the stories that I got. So I think that's an excellent date, actually.
All right. So I got another one that says, once this guy from Mutual took me on a date and we went to a dinner at Ruth's Diner, which is up the canyon in Salt Lake. And dinner was unremarkable, except he was a total catfish and a 0 out of 10. But, free dinner. We went to the drive-in movies after, which is 40 minutes away. And when we get there, he goes to pay and realizes he doesn't have his wallet and that he left it at the restaurant. I offered to pay, but he wanted to go back, and I didn't want 40 more minutes in the car with that guy, but whatever. We're driving back, and he starts sobbing like literally crocodile tears, saying how dumb he feels and how I'm going to be telling people this was the worst date I've ever been on. He cried the whole drive, and it was awkward. And I did tell people that it was the worst date I've ever been on. We went back to the movies, and halfway through, his mom called it, telling him it was past his bedtime. We were like 22, and he needed to come home. And he tried to kiss me at the door when he dropped me off.
No shot. This dude's mom called him and said it was past his bedtime. That can't be a real story. First of all, shout out to that girl for sharing the story after he said, "You're gonna tell people this was the worst date you ever went on," and she now submitted it into a podcast about the worst dates you've ever been on.
I mean, that does make it easy when anybody's like, worst date story. You're like, well, this guy literally told me he planned the worst spot. Yeah, that sucks. Leaving your wallet 40 minutes away. I mean, I might cry too, but I would probably just take her home and then go get my wallet.
I think it was a pro move that he was trying to get a little bit extra time with her. This dude was a catfish, like she said. Maybe he hadn't had the best dating luck before, and he thought, hey, I'm going to extend this date out as long as I can. I'm going to leave the wallet 40 minutes behind us. We'll have to go back. And then I got an extra time on the date. And maybe if she gets to know me in those 40 minutes.
Fortunately, Mama Bear was swooping in, though. Mama Bear was not having it. Mama Bear's like, midnight is when the Holy Ghost goes to bed.
This dude has got to live at home, right? There's no way he's like in college, like in his own dorm. And every night she's calling him, Steven, are you in bed yet? It's past your bedtime, young man. Make sure you brush your teeth.
No, yeah, I agree. Definitely like a live-at-home situation, and definitely that sounds like an awful date.
Oh, man, that's tough. That's brutal.
All right, so I have one more that I'm going to read, and this is another bit of a long one, so pay attention, Blake.
Okay.
It said, a kid I didn't want to go on a date with asked me out, and I don't know why I said yes, but I went. Only because he said it would be a double date with his slightly less creepy cousin. He had me meet him at the Dollar Theater. Looking back now, I'm okay he didn't pick me up. Less time with him. When we got to the theater, I asked where his cousin was, and he didn't know. He is probably on his way, he said. We went up to get our tickets, and the worker asked if it would be 2 tickets. The kid then turned to me, and catching on that he intended for me to pay for this date I didn't even want to go on, I turned away and pretended I wasn't paying attention. He sighed, yeah, and then proceeded to dump a pocket full of quarters on the counter. The poor worker had to count them all out. We got inside, and I didn't dare go into the theater until his cousin and date came in. I wasn't about to be trapped in a dark room with this kid. Long story short, cousin came and we sat down. I didn't realize how far away I was trying to sit from him until some man came in and sat down in the next seat to me, and I was practically sitting on top of him. I was dying the whole movie, just praying the theater would close it down early. The kid would turn to me and laugh at every ridiculous part, and I could hardly offer a pity laugh. When it finally ended, his dad came to pick him up, and I guess out of sympathy, took me home too. It was the worst awkward car ride and small talk, and when we finally got to my house, I double timed it. I was crossing one arm over to unbuckle my seatbelt, while at the same time I was reaching across to open the van door. While in my panic, I was making myself into a pretzel. He leaned over to give me a hug goodbye, so with my left hand on the door handle and my right hand on the buckle, I awkwardly patted his arm with my right hand before darting to my house, not looking back once.
Now, here's my question about this story. I'm over here acting this out so I can make sure I'm following. Why were they crossing themselves up, going left hand on the handle, right hand on the buckle, literally turning themselves around when they could have just...
I know, that was like the funniest part to me, is like just envisioning like being completely like pretzeled up trying to get the seatbelt off.
Maybe it was just a moment of panic and they didn't realize, hey, this thing on my left side, I should use my left hand for. That's fantastic. My favorite part about that is really just the fact that the dude expected her to pay, and then also when she didn't pay, whipped out a bag of quarters.
Yeah, he's like, bro, here's my allowance. Here's my nickels and dimes. That's just bad news.
And then his dad came to pick him up. That's a pretty tough date. I'm going to be honest.
That's terrible, yeah.
These stories are really making me appreciate my dating experience, because I genuinely don't know what my worst date would have been. Like, I don't know. Maybe I was just too picky. I didn't go on enough dates to really get myself out there. But like, I can't think of like a really bad date that I went on. So hearing all these gives me a lot more confidence.
I know, there are some absolutely brutal stories and some brutal dudes. I got one more. Okay, so this is the last one I've got, Blake, and it says, I got set up on a blind date. We went to Haunted Wheeler Farm. The guy was from Canada and kept goosing me over and over. And then because he was from Canada, she was being goosed by a Canadian goose.
Now, can you tell me what a goose is? I don't. Is this a common thing? I have no idea what this is.
I had to look it up. I didn't know what being goosed was, and the result I found was getting your butt pinched. It said like the pinching of the buttocks or something. So I don't know if that's what it meant.
First date, this dude was walking around just pinching your cheeks. That's unreal, bro. What?
That's why I was like, I had no idea what being goosed was, so I had to look it up, and I was like, jeez, man, this guy had no standards. This guy had he was just wild. And
he just said, I'm Canadian, so this is okay. Is that a common thing in Canada, do you think? Like, is that people walk around just goosing each other? Just,
I don't know.
Giving them the old goose?
It sounds terrible to me. Getting your butt pinched, that would hurt.
Oh, man.
But
yeah, that's unreal. I don't even know what to say about that.
Getting goosed by a Canadian goose. Yeah, that's a terrible fate.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for everybody involved. So
yeah,
don't goose people on a first date.
I feel like most of these were men in the wrong, which, as expected,
we didn't have a great showing.
No, men really got to step it up, and that's why this Valentine's Day, you need to do something special for your ladies. Take good care of them. And the best way to do that is by going to our Instagram bio and buying them a orchid purple PM and the AM hoodie.
Oh, that was very nice. I like that.
That's the cure-all for everything wrong that you've ever done. Right?
Yeah, we are going to need to put in a second order soon. We did just get our first order of the hoodies and I'm in the process right now. But I've already had multiple people reach out to me that missed the first order that need to hop on the second one. So if that's you, hey, don't miss out on the orchid PM in the AM exclusive.
All right. Well, Blake, you got anything else for the listeners before we cut this episode off?
That's it, man. Fellas, be better on dates. I'm ashamed of you right now, but next year's our year. Don't we? We got it.
Yeah, I think my main thing is make sure you got a drawstring in your shorts and make sure your gym shorts fit.
That's also very important.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning into this week's episode, and we will catch you guys next week.
Peace out.
Congrats on making it all the way to the end. We hope you enjoyed the show. You are now officially part of the PM and the AM fan base, the Morning People, and we are super pumped to have you here. Now that you're a part of the crew, please share the episode with a friend, and make sure to check out the rest of our shows and social media content for more hilarious brackets, crazy questions, and an overall great time. Thanks for listening. It truly means a lot to us, and we'll catch you guys next week.